right, so here we go. We're on the line. The mood on the line today is a little bit different than usual. So me and Marc both know that there's a lot riding on this race, and so things are pretty serious, not the usual banter that goes on. Because yeah, man, I know me personally, it was all business. I had to win this race. So you can see we started off here, started off pretty strong, pretty hard. My plan was to jump on Marc's wheel. James was kind of trying to pull up on my left there, but I wasn't going to have it, so I made sure that I grabbed Marc's wheel. Came around the turn here. This is kind of where I find out just what things are going to be like. There was a lot of mud right there in that corner. It was my hope that there was not going to be just complete mud fest today. But given all the rain that we had, turns out that no such luck in that regard. So as we're going back towards the single track here, we still have a solid mile almost of just wide open. Big effort for a couple of minutes here. Obviously, the more fitness-oriented, the roadies are going to excel here, and I keep expecting Rolando and some of the other roadies to really make a move here. My plan is just to stick with Marc, so that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. I'm just hanging with him as best I can. I mean, powered down pretty good for me for this amount of effort. Here comes Rolando. No big surprise there. Expected him. Here's Daniel. A little bit surprised at that, but at the same time, I know, like I say, the all-out fitness power guys were going to do fine on that big double-track lead-in. Here in just a second, Daniel kind of pulls off to the left. I guess he doesn't want to ride the mud up to the single track, and Sean follows him, which allows me to just kind of put a little bit down to keep going. So I get back around those two, and then here comes Enrique. Another super powerful, fit guy, and he just blasts by me and runs up there to Marc, which is fine. That's good. Marc's not too far ahead. I'm thinking I'm okay. So finally get to the single track where I'm hoping that this will be home for me. I'm hoping that Rolando will be slowed down a little bit in here, and that I'll be able to catch back on and keep the dream alive. So I'm getting ready to try to get some power to pass Enrique. He actually looks over his shoulder, notices it's me behind him, and actually says, "Come on, Coop, get up here. You're the one battling it out with Marc." So he kind of, knew that it was between Marc and I trying to win the series. So he doesn't contest me getting around him at all, and encourages me to get around, which gives me the opportunity to jump on Marc's wheel. So now it's, now I'm on Marc's wheel. The only problem is, while it's great to ride with Marc, if I finish, second or third and I don't win the race, then it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm locked into second place already. The only opportunity I have to win the series is to win this race altogether. So even though I'm riding here with Marc just kind of fine and the pace is okay, I really need to pass Marc, and I've got to go catch Rolando if I have any chance of winning this state championship. The bad news here is that I really don't have that much more to give. I'm riding with Marc here, and I'm kind of just pretty much maxed out, just staying up with Marc, let alone trying to pass him and catch up with Rolando, which is who knows how far up the trail he is. Here's where I make the first of my mistakes in the race. I kind of go off trail there following the old path, get off into a bit of a ditch there, so costs me some energy, and I have to A, get back on the trail, the new trail, and B, catch back up with Marc. So I mean, in the micro sense, one big effort to get back up is no big deal. Problem is when you start making more than one little mistake, and you have lots of little mistakes, they start adding up, and they really end up costing you in terms of energy and available power. Super props to Marc. With the state of the series the way it is, all he really has to do is ensure I don't win. So, you know, he could have just been dogging it here and made me try to do something. But he's riding super smooth and super strong and not just dogging it like he could if he wanted to. Because, I mean, essentially, he's got the series locked up as long as I don't win the race outright. So here comes another one of those slick down and ups, and in all honesty, this might be what really cost me the most. As I go right up here and trying to power up, I slide out, and Marc gets a gap on me by just a few seconds. But you know, those few seconds can really matter because now he's pretty much out of view. And now I'm chasing. I've got to, again, expend a lot of energy to catch back up to him, potentially. I know that the big open field areas of the trail are coming up, and I need really badly to be on his wheel to plan to draft off of him through the fields. Because I know I can't beat them just outright, just with power. So I have to be able to do it with tactics. So I'm in a position here where I've got to push a little bit harder. I've got to catch back up to Marc, and you know, I feel like, you know, I'm giving it pretty much all I've got, and all I can give with the conditions of the trail. So I'm kind of starting to gain a little bit back on him. I'm reeling him in a little bit. There he is. But then here's the kind of the third mistake I make. There's a stump right there in the trail. I made the line with my front wheel, but my back wheel hits that stump pretty solid, turns my rear end sideways, brings me to an almost complete stop. And again, Marc gains a few more seconds on me. You know, Marc has ridden super well all series, all year long. He has just been super. I don't know that I've seen him make any mistakes, quite honestly. He's been an incredible rider, and you know, he gets away from me. It looks like I dinged the tree right there. And yeah, so he gets away from me here. I'm not sure if he powers down even more to really make the gap stick. But I never catch back up to him the rest of the race. I I see him coming through the fields, and I time him, and he's 15, 20, 30 seconds ahead of me, which trying to make up that much time on Marc is pretty tough, especially when the course is not favorable to my strengths. So I haven't thrown in the towel yet, but I know it's going to be really tough, and I'm going to have something's going to have to happen for me to be able to get back into this. I just keep riding as hard as I can, seeing what I can do. As I pop out of the single track here and I look down the trail, David Cervera there is yelling at me, "Hey, it's 15 seconds." I have a feeling it's more like 30. Dave's trying to give me a little bit of hope. So I look up here and Marc is nowhere to be seen. Go ahead and put down the energy that I can here, and then I plan to really power through this next big field coming up. I look over my shoulder, and there's a train of stronger, fitness-oriented guys right behind me. They kind of jump on my wheel up here in just a little bit, and I find myself in that position where now I'm the guy pulling the train, and they're the strong guys, and so I can't have that happen. I see Marc up around the corner there. He's, a good 20 seconds or more ahead. I've got the train of other riders right on my wheel. They're essentially in a position to draft off of me, which means I'm going to put myself in, I'm going to lose some effort pulling them around. So I'm in a predicament here. I can't afford to just completely dog it because I still need to close on Marc, but I really, really, really need, and there's a big, huge another section of double track coming up, so I need to get that drafting position. So I kind of dog it a little bit, let Daniel come around, thinking that we're about to hit, basically double track all the way back to the single track again. I didn't realize that it was going to cut back in here to do the little top of the BMX area, the little whoops that are here. It's okay. Daniel's still doing just fine up here, and he's now kind of where I was needing somebody to be. I'm hoping that he'll pull me through till we get to the single track, and hopefully I can make up some time. Enrique was actually right behind me, so he comes around again, says, "Hey man, grab hold." So I jump on. I'm like, "Yeah, let's go. This is exactly what I need. Somebody to draft off of, because there's going to be a nice long slog from here until we get back to the single track." I've drafted off of Enrique and Daniel all the way on the double track from the last bit of single track. But now it's time to get back out there and start making good time in the single track. So Daniel he pulls over again, avoiding the mud. Enrique gets around him, and then I say, okay, well, I need to get it. I need to be the first one in. So I kind of put it as hard as I can to get back in the front here to get the single track, hoping that I'll make up some time on Marc in this second of 3 laps. As I pop out of the single track here in the second lap, buddy David Cervera's there. He's giving me some words of encouragement. But man, things are not looking really good for the coupe today. So there are a couple of folks on my wheel at this point. I don't recognize one of the guys. I assume he's one of the older age group folks that I didn't know. He comes around and I see he's got a 6 on his leg. He's in my group. I have no idea who this guy is. And I'm like, so who is this guy that has now passed me? One of the things with Warda is the Warda Race is very... Again, it's non-technical, so a lot of and it's close to Houston, so you get a lot of people that come out and race this race that maybe don't mountain bike as much. It's maybe a politically correct way of me saying they are roadies. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but maybe just people that don't race as much. So I didn't know who this guy was. Turns out his name is Jaime. So he passed me there. Now I find myself in 4th place. Sean is right on my wheel. I am tired or just not feeling it. And I'm going to tell him here in a sec. If you've got the strength, come on around and head on in, because right now I don't have it, and it's a little bit sad for me. But it is what it is. So I'm sitting in 4th place, heading into the single track for the final time, the 3rd lap here. The win is probably, at this point I know the win is way out of reach, and I have no idea where Marc is to even contest a race with him. Jaime and Sean both charge off into the single track, and I just kind of limp along trying to catch back up. So here I am now in 5th place. Heading into the single track, hoping to, pull something out somehow, some way. Finally reeling back in the single track, and so now I'm riding on Sean's wheel here, and Jaime's just up ahead. At this point, I know that I don't have a shot at winning the race, and I probably don't even have a shot at catching Marc. So now I'm starting to strategize how I can, at least get 3rd place back. Judging by the way that Jaime came around me on the road, I know he's probably a strong rider. So I'm starting to think in my mind, well, I'm going to need to plan to draft off these guys around the fields and then try to snipe at the end. As we pop back out into the wide open areas again, I'm curious if Sean, I'm thinking at this point, because we had talked about strategizing before, to dog it a little bit if somebody's on your wheel and let them pass you so you can get in behind to draft off them. These places through here are very critical to saving some energy if you can. So it's a good opportunity, it's a good strategy to let them get in front and pull you around and get a little draft there. It really does make a difference. The thing with drafting, though, you have to stay on their wheel, and here comes this little bit of a hill, and know, it's time we got to stay with him through here. If he gets away on the hill, he's going to be gone in the open field. So Sean is starting to fade a little bit. You know, I tell him, hey man, you got to hang on or die trying, because if he gets away, he's gone. Sean's suffering pretty good. You can tell by his head's down. I'm like, okay, well, I got to go. I try to give Sean a little bit of encouragement. Hey man, grab my wheel, let's go. But my target is Jaime at this point, so I power down as much as I can here to close the gap and jump on his wheel with plans to draft off of him until a good position or a good opportunity arises to get around him and try to go for the win. We start running into some back markers from the earlier age groups here, and kind of have to plan to stay strong to get some passes here. But you know, get around, make it happen. And I stick on Jaime's wheel. I'm definitely not going to let him get away from me at this point. He's sitting in third, and I know that that's what I've got to get in front of him to get third place. So I know we're getting pretty close to the finish here, and I know I'm going to have to make my move. So I'm getting that mental preparation ready. We hit this mud and he slows a little bit, and I'm like, oh, it's time to go. So I jump right then. I push hard. I go, I push as hard as I can at this point in the race. I look back and he's not really chasing hard after me. Try not to let that worry me though, and try to keep powering all the way to the finish. So there we go. Finished the race in third place. Didn't win the race, so that means I get second place for the state championship series. Had hoped to try to pull out a win today, but just wasn't in the cards. Props to Rolando and Marc. Marc rode a fantastic ride, the part that I saw. Marc rode a great race, and so he was the better competitor today, absolutely, and major props to him on that race. So congratulations on your victory, my friend.
This guy right here, he pushed me hard. Pushed me harder than I've ever been pushed.
Wanted to push you harder today, but fell off the back and couldn't get back on it. So
you did
congratulations.
Good. You did good. You pushed me super hard this series, bud.
Good.
Second place, Cooper Selby.
Thank you.
Nice work, gentlemen. Good job, man.
Marc Cook and all his assistant chefs right here. Let's give it up for these
I hope I don't get pulled over.
This was exhausting. This whole experience was absolutely exhausting. You are absolutely the most insufferable group of jackasses I have ever had the misfortune of spending an extended period of time with. I hope you all die.